The arena is dark and full of theories.
District 12, The Seam, 34 years before the 74th Hunger Games. The schoolhouse is freezing. January wind cuts through gaps in the wooden walls. 40 children sit at desks, ages 8 to 16, all taking the mandatory Capitol aptitude test. The peacekeeper administering the test paces between rows. You have 2 hours. Begin. Haymitch Abernathy, age 8, sits in the back. Scene kid, coal dust under his fingernails. Clothes too thin for winter. He opens the test booklet. Question 1. Calculate the optimal resource distribution across 12 districts given the following constraints. The test is designed for 16-year-olds. Haymitch reads through it, doesn't touch his pencil for 3 minutes. Then he starts writing. 12 minutes later, Haymitch sets down his pencil, stands, walks to the front. The peacekeeper looks up. Sit down. You have 1 hour and 48 minutes remaining. Haymitch, I'm done. Impossible, sit down. Haymitch places the test on the desk. Check it. The peacekeeper scans the answers. His expression changes. Shock. Then something else. Fear. Wait outside. Haymitch walks out, sits on the frozen steps. He knows what this means. The Capitol notices things. Smart kids get noticed. Getting noticed is never good. 2 weeks later, Haymitch is home. A shack in the seam. Haymitch lives with his mother, a widow, coal miner's wife. His father died in a shaft collapse 3 years ago. There's a knock. His mother opens the door. A man stands there, Capitol suit, peacekeeper escort. The man, Mrs. Abernathy, I'm here about your son. She pulls Haymitch behind her. What about him? He'll receive education in the Capitol, all expenses paid. His mother, no, he stays here. I'm afraid that's not a request. The Capitol has invested considerable resources in identifying talented children. Haymitch's aptitude scores are exceptional. He'll leave in 3 days. And if I refuse, the peacekeeper steps forward, doesn't speak, doesn't need to. His mother's face goes white. The man, 3 days, Mrs. Abernathy, pack light. The Capitol will provide everything he needs. They leave. Haymitch's mother kneels, holds his face. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Haymitch, 8 years old, understands perfectly. It's okay, Mama. I'll be fine. He won't be. They both know it. But there's no choice. 3 days later, the train platform. Haymitch stands on the platform with a single bag. His mother beside him. The Capitol train arrives. Sleek, too clean for District 12. The man from before steps out. Ready, Haymitch? Haymitch hugs his mother. She's crying. He whispers, I'll come back. She knows he's lying. Holds him tighter. The man, time to go. Haymitch boards the train. Looks back once. His mother stands alone on the platform, getting smaller as the train pulls away. Haymitch sits. Doesn't cry. 8 years old and he's already learning emotions are weakness. The Capitol takes. The Capitol owns. The Capitol never gives back. The train speeds toward a city he's only seen on mandatory viewing screens. The presidential mansion. Snow's private study. Haymitch is brought to a room that costs more than his entire district. Marble floors. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Roses everywhere. President Coriolanus Snow sits behind a desk. Age 52. White blonde hair. Cold eyes. Haymitch Abernathy, sit. Haymitch sits. The chair is too big for him. Snow studies him. Do you know who I am, President Snow? Do you know why you're here? Haymitch. Because I'm smart. You finished an aptitude test in 12 minutes that takes most children 2 hours. You scored perfectly. That kind of intelligence is rare. Wasted in a coal mine. My father died in a coal mine. Exactly. Your father's intelligence, assuming he had any, was wasted crushing rocks in the dark. You won't be wasted. I'm going to give you something most people never have. Potential. Power. Purpose. Haymitch says nothing. Snow. But power demands loyalty. Absolute loyalty. Do you understand? Yes. No, you don't. Not yet, but you will. Snow stands. Walks to the window. Your mother is alive, Haymitch. She'll continue to work in the mines. She'll receive extra rations, a reward for producing such a gifted son. As long as you're loyal, she'll be safe. Comfortable, even. The threat is unspoken but clear. Snow. Betray me and I erase everyone you've ever loved. Your mother. Your neighbors. Everyone in the seam who remembers your name. Do we have an understanding? Haymitch, 8 years old, makes a calculation. If he says no, they die anyway. If he says yes, he lives. His mother lives, and maybe years from now, there's a chance. Yes, sir. Snow returns to his desk. Good. You'll live here. You'll be educated by the finest tutors in the Capitol, politics, strategy, history. You'll learn what power is, how to take it, how to keep it. Why? Because I'm building the future of Panem. And you're going to help me. One day you'll understand that everything I do, every decision, every sacrifice, is to keep this nation stable, safe, united. Doesn't believe a word, but he's smart enough to perform belief. Snow, your room is prepared. Dinner is at 7. Don't be late. Haymitch stands, turns to leave. Snow, Haymitch. The next 8 years. Montage, year 1, age 8-9. Education. Private tutors, history of Panem, the dark days, why the districts must be controlled. Haymitch learns fast. Too fast. His tutor, remarkable. He's reading at a university level already. Snow, observing. Good, increase the difficulty. Test 1. Haymitch has shown footage of a district uprising, peacekeepers executing rebels. Snow, these people threatened Panem's stability. Were the executions justified? Haymitch, knowing what answer Snow wants. Yes. Snow, why? Because chaos kills more people than order. Snow smiles. Correct. Year 3, age 1011, the loyalty test. Snow brings Haymitch to observe a servant being interrogated. Accused of stealing, the servant is tortured. Screams, Snow, is he guilty? The evidence is fabricated, but admitting that means questioning Snow. Haymitch, yes, he's guilty. That night, Haymitch vomits in his bathroom, silently, so no one hears. He starts keeping a mental tally, every cruelty, every lie, every innocent person. One day I'll make you pay for all of it. Year 4, age 112. Game theory, Snow teaches Haymitch strategy through games. Chess, war simulations, political scenarios, Haymitch wins consistently. Snow, you think like a predator. Good. The weak are prey. Remember that. Haymitch, I will, sir, but predators can be hunted. Year 5, age 1213. The breaking point that doesn't break. Snow stages an elaborate test. He tells Haymitch that his mother has been caught in a mine collapse. Dead. Haymitch's face doesn't move. I understand. Snow studies him. You're not upset. She's dead. Being upset won't change that. Snow. Good. Emotional attachment is weakness. 3 days later, Snow reveals it was a lie. His mother is alive. I needed to see if you'd break. You didn't. You're ready for the next phase. Haymitch says nothing, but that night, alone, he makes a vow. I'll never love anything again, because love is the leash you use to control people. I'll cut every leash, and then I'll strangle you with them. Year 6-7, age 1315. Advanced training, political theory, surveillance technology, psychological manipulation. Snow introduces Haymitch to the Game Maker division. Next year, you'll join them for the 50th games. Haymitch, the quarter quell. It will be your first real test, year 8, age 15. The announcement. Snow and Haymitch stand in the presidential mansion study. Snow, the 50th Hunger Games, twice the tributes, twice the spectacle. You'll serve as a junior game maker, learn how we maintain control through fear, through spectacle, through the games. Haymitch, I'm honored, sir. Snow, you should be. You're the youngest game maker in history. Don't disappoint me. Haymitch, I won't. Snow, good, because the tributes from District 12 will be in the arena. Your district. I want to see if you have the stomach for what's necessary. Haymitch's face doesn't change. I understand. It won't work. I'll do what you ask. I'll play the role. But every tribute who dies, I'll remember. And I'll add it to the debt you owe. Snow. The games begin in 6 months. Prepare yourself. Haymitch. I already have. The Game Maker control room. 6 months later, Haymitch Abernathy, age 16, stands in the Game Maker control room for the first time. It's massive, screens covering every wall, 40 technicians monitoring 48 tributes, the 50th Hunger Games, the second quarter quell, twice the tributes, twice the blood. The head game maker, a man named Claudius Vane, age 60, Capitol elite, addresses the room. Gentlemen, this is the quell. President Snow expects perfection. The tributes are already in the arena. Our job is to make them suffer beautifully. Laughter from the technicians. Haymitch doesn't laugh. He's studying the screens. 48 tributes, 24 boys, 24 girls. District 12 sent 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. One of the girls is Macy Donner. Haymitch recognizes her. Vaguely, she's from the merchant section, a few years older than him. He remembers her from school before he was taken. Blonde hair, kind eyes. She's going to die in that arena. Claudius, Abernathy, you're on environmental controls, Sector 7. If I tell you to trigger something, you trigger it. Understand? Haymitch. Yes, sir. The arena. The 50th Games Arena is an alpine nightmare. Frozen mountains, lethal cold, snow and ice everywhere. The tributes fight for survival. Some form alliances, some kill immediately. By day 3, 12 tributes are dead. Haymitch watches every death on the screens, studies the patterns, the strategies. He's learning not just how to kill, how to control. Day 5, the avalanche. Sector 7 is a narrow mountain pass. 5 tributes are crossing it. Claudius, Abernathy, trigger the avalanche. Haymitch looks at the screen. 3 of the tributes are children. 12 years old. Haymitch, sir, you heard me. Avalanche, now. Haymitch's hand hovers over the control. He looks at the observation deck. President Snow is there, watching, waiting to see if Haymitch will hesitate. Haymitch presses the button. The avalanche roars down the mountain, buries the pass, crushes everything. 3 cannons fire. The 12-year-olds are dead. Claudius, good. No hesitation. You'll go far, boy. Haymitch's hands don't shake. His face doesn't move, but inside, something breaks. No, not breaks. Hardens. I just killed 3 children. Snow wanted to see if I'd do it. I did. He thinks he's won. He thinks I'm his now. He's wrong. Day 12. The final 8. Macy Donner is still alive. She's made it to the final 8 through intelligence and luck. No kills. Just survival. She's allied with a boy from District 11. They're hiding in a cave, rationing food. Haymitch monitors her vitals, heart rate elevated but stable. She's scared but functional. She reminds him of the seam, of home, of the life stolen from him. Claudius, the girl from 12, she's boring. No kills, no drama. We need to force her into conflict. Candy pink birds, engineered to swarm and kill. The birds drive Macy and her ally out of the cave. They run. The ally is faster. He abandons her. Macy is caught in the open. The male tribute from District 12, a career-trained merchant kid, sees her. Needs one more kill to improve his odds. He attacks with an axe. Macy fights back with a blowgun, hits him once. Bigger, the axe comes down. Macy's cannon fires. Haymitch watches on the screen. Her body falls. Blood in the snow. The control room cheers. Excellent. That's what the audience wants. Haymitch says nothing. He's memorizing her face, adding her to the tally. Macy Donner, District 12, dead because of me, because I helped build this, but I can make sure it ends. That night, Haymitch's Capitol apartment. Haymitch sits alone. The games ended hours ago. A boy from District 1 won, killed the District 12 male in the final fight. Haymitch didn't care, didn't watch. He's thinking about Macy. He pulls out a piece of paper, writes her name, burns it in the fireplace. A private memorial, the only one she'll get. He whispers, I'm sorry, I'll make it count. He makes a decision. He'll stay. He'll rise through the game maker ranks. He'll become indispensable to Snow. And when the perfect moment comes, when he has the power, the access, the opportunity, he'll burn the entire system to ash. Not tomorrow, not next year, but one day I'll wait. However long it takes, I'll wait. The next morning, Snow's study. Snow summons Haymitch. You did well. No hesitation during the avalanche. No emotional reaction when the girl from your district died. You're learning. Haymitch. Thank you, sir. Snow, do you understand now? The games aren't punishment. They're control. They're a reminder. The districts live because we allow it. They die because we will it. Power isn't cruelty. It's necessity. Haymitch meets Snow's eyes. I understand now. The games prove the Capitol's power. I want to be part of that power. You're ready for the next phase. I'm promoting you to senior game maker designer. You'll help build the arenas, design the traps, make the games unforgettable. I won't disappoint you. Snow, I know you won't. Because you're my son now, Haymitch. You're the future of this nation. Haymitch, thank you, Father. The word tastes like poison. But he says it. Snow embraces him, a gesture of approval. Haymitch wants to vomit, wants to scream, wants to drive a knife into Snow's neck. Instead, he smiles. I know. The next 24 years. The rise, ages 16 to 20. Senior game maker designer Haymitch designs arenas with brutal efficiency. The 51st Games, a desert arena. He codes in a hidden oasis that's actually a trap. Tributes die of dehydration thinking they're saved. The 52nd Games, a jungle with carnivorous plants. He engineers them to mimic human voices. Tributes follow the screams straight into death. The 53rd Games, an urban ruins arena. He hides landmines under debris. Every step is a gamble. The Capitol loves him. Brilliant, ruthless, the future of the games. Haymitch accepts the praise, plays the role. But every night he works in secret. He maps the Capitol's infrastructure, security systems, peacekeeper patrol routes, power grids. He installs back doors in the arena control systems, hidden code that only he can access. He builds leverage, collects secrets, prepares. Not yet, but soon. Ages 20 to 25, building relationships. Haymitch cultivates allies in the Capitol. Carefully, strategically, Plutarch Heavensby, a younger game maker, ambitious, clever, Haymitch senses something beneath the surface. Doubt, maybe even dissent. Seneca Crane, a rival game maker, arrogant, ambitious. Haymitch keeps him close. Know your enemies. Tigress, a stylist. She used to be close to Snow. Now she's distant. Haymitch notices, files it away. He never reveals himself, never shows doubt, never breaks character. But he's watching, waiting. Ages 25 to 30, the promotion. The head game maker dies. Tragic accident, heart attack. Haymitch suspects Snow had him killed. Too old, too resistant to change. Snow offers Haymitch the position. You're 28, the youngest head game maker in history. But you've earned it. The Capitol loves you. The districts fear you. You're perfect. Haymitch, I'm honored. Snow, you should be. This is the pinnacle of power. Every game you design will shape Panem's future. Make me proud. Always. Ages 30 to 40, the decade of waiting. Haymitch runs 10 consecutive Hunger Games as head game maker. Each one is a masterpiece of cruelty. The Capitol adores him. But Haymitch is playing a deeper game. Every arena he builds has a flaw. Hidden. Coded. Exploitable if you know where to look. Every security system has a back door. Every defense has a weakness. He's building an empire with cracks in the foundation. And he's waiting. Waiting for a tribute who can be more than a victim. A tribute who can be a symbol. A spark. Year 40. 3 months before the 74th Games, Haymitch sits in his office, head game maker for a decade, trusted by Snow, feared by everyone else. He's 40 years old, 32 years in the Capitol, 32 years playing a role. He's sober, always has been. No alcohol, no drugs, no vices. Cold, calculating, functional. The mask is perfect, but inside, the hatred burns as bright as it did when he was 8. He's reviewed every tribute from the last 10 years. Hundreds of children, all dead. Some were brave, some were cruel. None were special enough. None could be the spark. But the 74th Games are approaching, and Haymitch has a feeling. This year. Something changes this year, he doesn't know what yet. But he's ready. The Reaping Room, 74th Games. Haymitch sits in the Game Maker control room, watching the reaping feeds from all 12 districts. It's routine, he's seen it 24 times before. District 1, careers, volunteers. Expected. District 2, same. District 3, 1-1, crying children. Terrified families. Expected. District 12, Haymitch leans forward. This is his district, the place he hasn't seen in 32 years. Effie Trinket draws the girl's name, Primrose Everdeen. A little girl, 12 years old, blonde. Terrified. She walks toward the stage. Then, I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute. A girl pushes through the crowd. 16, dark hair, seam features. Katniss Everdeen. She takes her sister's place. Haymitch freezes the feed, zooms in on Katniss's face. He sees seam eyes, hunter's eyes. Cold, calculating, protective rage. She volunteered for her sister. Self-sacrifice, defiance. She's not begging, she's daring them. Survival instinct. She's already planning, already strategizing. Haymitch rewinds. Watches the moment again, the way she moves, the way she positions herself between her sister and the stage. This isn't performance, this is real. She's from the seam. She's a survivor, she's genuine. Haymitch pulls up her profile. Katniss Everdeen, age 16. Father dead in mining accident, hunts illegally to feed her family. Excellent with a bow. No Capitol record except minor black market trading. Perfect. Then Peeta Mellark is reaped, the baker's son. Haymitch watches Peeta's face when he looks at Katniss. Recognition, pain, longing. He loves her, and she doesn't know. Haymitch sits back. This is it. The star-crossed lovers from District 12. One who fights to survive. One who fights to protect her. The Capitol will eat this up. And if Haymitch can keep them both alive, if he can make them win together, it will force Snow into an impossible position. The Capitol will demand their survival. Snow will look weak if he kills them. This is the moment. After 24 years, this is the spark. Haymitch pulls up the arena design for the 74th Games. Starts calculating. The chariot ceremony. Haymitch watches from the Game Maker viewing box. Katniss and Peeta's chariot enters. They're on fire. Literally, Cinna's design. The crowd goes insane. Haymitch watches the betting markets on his tablet. District 12's odds improve immediately. Snow, sitting beside him. Impressive. Your district finally sent someone interesting. Haymitch, they have potential. Snow, don't get attached. They'll die like all the rest. Haymitch, of course, sir. No, they won't. The training scores. Katniss shoots an arrow at the game makers during her private session, scores an 11. Peeta demonstrates strength and camouflage, scores an 8. Haymitch reviews the footage, Katniss's defiance. Peeta's strategy, perfect. Both of them are perfect. He begins manipulating the sponsor system, sends coded messages to Capitol elites. District 12 is worth watching this year. The girl is special, makes it easier to send them gifts during the games. All subtle. All deniable, but deliberate. The interviews. Haymitch watches Caesar Flickerman interview Katniss. She's stiff, uncomfortable, not good at performing. Then Cinna's dress catches fire. She spins. The crowd loves it. She's the girl on fire. Then Peeta. Caesar, do you have a special someone back home? Peeta, yes, but she doesn't know. Well, maybe she'll see this. What's her name? Loses their minds. Haymitch sits forward. He just made them the star-crossed lovers. He just gave me everything I need. Snow, beside him. Clever. The romance angle will drive sponsor donations. Haymitch, yes, sir. This will be a very profitable games. Snow, make sure it's memorable. I want a spectacle. Haymitch, you'll have one? The arena. Day 1. The bloodbath at the cornucopia. Haymitch watches as tributes die. 11 dead in the first 5 minutes. Katniss runs. Doesn't engage. Smart. Peeta joins the careers. Playing the long game, Haymitch begins his manipulations. Day 3. The tracker-jacker nest. Katniss is trapped in a tree. Careers below. Haymitch sends a sponsor gift. A loaf of bread. Arrives while she's asleep. She wakes. Sees the bread. Knows what it means. Stay alive. I'm helping you. She climbs. Finds the tracker-jacker nest, drops it on the careers. 2 careers die, the rest scatter. Katniss survives. Haymitch sits in the control room, watching. One of the junior game makers, sir, the sponsor gifts for District 12 are arriving unusually fast. Haymitch, the sponsors love them. I'm not going to throttle donations and hurt our ratings. The game maker, but, Haymitch, I'm the head game maker. I decide gift timing. Understood? Yes, sir. Haymitch returns to the screens. Keep surviving, Katniss. I need you alive. Day 8. Rue's death. Rue, the 12-year-old from District 11, allies with Katniss. Then Marvel kills her with a spear. Katniss cradles Rue, sings to her, covers her body in flowers. The control room goes silent. One game maker mutters, That's going to cause problems. The districts will do nothing. They never do. Keep the cameras on Everdeen. Let them see. Let every district see what we do to children. Let them feel it. The footage airs, Katniss singing, Rue dying, District 11 erupts in riots. Snow receives the reports. Turns to Haymitch. This is your fault. You let the cameras linger. Haymitch, the audience needed the emotional payoff. Rue's death makes Katniss sympathetic. It drives sponsor engagement. Haymitch, only if we let it. We control the narrative. Katniss is grieving. Tragic. But she's still in the arena. Still fighting. We're still in control. End this quickly. I want her dead. Haymitch, yes, sir. No, I'm keeping her alive. Because she's the spark, and the fire is already starting. The arena. Day 15. 8 tributes remain. Haymitch monitors them from the control room. He's been running the games for 15 days with surgical precision. Every sponsor gift timed perfectly. Every arena manipulation subtle enough to seem natural. Katniss has survived the tracker jackers, the fire, the career pack, and Rue's death. Peeta is injured. Blood poisoning from a sword wound. Dying slowly in a cave by the river. The other game makers want to let him die. Natural attrition. Haymitch overrides them. The romance angle is our most valuable asset. If Peeta dies now, we lose half the audience investment. Keep him alive long enough for a reunion. Moments later, Claudius Templesmith's voice echoes through the arena. Attention, tributes. There has been a rule change. 2 tributes from the same district may both be declared winners. This will be the only announcement. Junior Game Maker. Sir, you can't. That's never been done. Haymitch, I just did it. The romance is too valuable. We can always change the rule back and force them to fight later. Snow's voice crackles over the private comm channel. Haymitch, explain. Haymitch switches to Snow's frequency. The star-crossed lovers angle is driving sponsor donations to record levels. If we let them reunite, play up the romance, we can milk this for another week. Maximum profit. Maximum spectacle. Snow. And if they both survive to the end, then we announce another rule change. Only one victor. Force them to choose. Love or survival. The Capitol will love it, but make it memorable. I want their suffering to be exquisite. Haymitch, you'll have it. He disconnects. You'll have a spectacle, just not the one you want. Day 16. The reunion. Katniss finds Peeta in the cave. He's delirious with fever. She kisses him, plays up the romance for the cameras. Haymitch sends sponsor gifts, medicine, food. Enough to keep Peeta alive. The Capitol audience eats it up. Donations flood in. Snow watches from his mansion, suspicious but unable to prove anything. The romance is working exactly as Haymitch said it would. Day 19. The feast. 4 tributes remain. Katniss, Peeta, Cato, and Thresh. Haymitch orchestrates a feast at the cornucopia. Backpacks with critical supplies. It's a standard game maker tactic. Force the tributes together. Create conflict. Thresh kills Clove. Spares Katniss because she was kind to Rue. Thresh dies to Cato later that night. Mutts. Now it's down to 3. Day 20. The final 3. Katniss, Peeta, and Cato. Haymitch deploys the wolf mutts. Drives them toward the cornucopia. Standard endgame protocol. Force the finale. Cato, Katniss, and Peeta fight on top of the cornucopia. Katniss shoots Cato. He falls to the mutts. His cannon fires. 2 tributes remain. Both from District 12. The arena goes silent. Haymitch leans forward in his chair. This is it. The moment he's been engineering for 15 days. Claudius Templesmith's voice. Attention tributes. There has been a revision to the rule change. Only one victor may be crowned. Lay down your weapons, and may the odds be ever in your favor. The control room expects a fight. Katniss versus Peeta, the tragic finale, but Katniss does something Haymitch hoped for, but couldn't guarantee. She pulls out the nightlock berries, offers half to Peeta. Together, Peeta nods. Together, they raise the berries to their lips. The control room explodes. Sir, they're going to stop them. We'll have no victor. Haymitch grabs the microphone. Stop! Stop! Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the 74th Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark. He cuts the arena feed, deploys the hovercraft. The room stares at him in shock. Senior Game Maker, sir. What did you just do? Haymitch, ice cold. I saved the games. They were going to commit suicide on live television. If I let that happen, the Capitol looks like it lost. We look weak. Instead, I made it look like we were merciful, generous. We gave the audience what they wanted. 2 victors, a happy ending. This is a victory for the Capitol, the game maker, or it's the beginning of a rebellion. Haymitch meets his eyes. Then maybe we deserved one. Haymitch turns back to the screens, watches the hovercraft extract Katniss and Peeta. It's done. The first move. The spark is lit. 30 minutes later, Snow's office. Haymitch is summoned immediately. He walks into Snow's office. The president is standing by the window. Roses everywhere. The smell is suffocating. Snow doesn't turn. Explain. Haymitch. They were going to kill themselves. Double suicide on live broadcast. If I let that happen, the Capitol looks powerless. We look like we lost control. Riots would have started immediately. Snow. So you gave them both the victory. I gave the audience a love story. The star-crossed lovers who couldn't bear to kill each other. The Capitol forced to show mercy. We still control the narrative. Snow turns. His eyes are cold. Or you just made them into martyrs. Symbols. The districts will see this as defiance. They'll see 2 children who refused to play our game and won anyway. The districts will see what we tell them to see. We control the broadcasts. We control the story. Stops inches from Haymitch's face. You've been with me for 32 years. I raised you, trained you, made you what you are. Tell me, Haymitch, are you loyal? Doesn't blink? I've been your son for 32 years. You know I am. Snow studies him, searching for deception, for cracks in the mask. Haymitch's face is stone. 32 years of practice. The mask is perfect. Finally, Snow steps back. You're either a genius or a traitor. I haven't decided which. I'm loyal, that's all that matters. Snow. We'll see. The Victor's Tour starts in 2 months. Katniss and Peeta will visit every district. If they inspire rebellion, I'll know whose fault it is. They won't. I'll make sure of it. Snow. You'd better. Because if this spirals into revolution, you'll be the first one I execute. Understood? Haymitch. Understood. Snow waves him away. Get out. Haymitch leaves. In the hallway, alone, he allows himself one moment. A small smile. I just defied you openly and you couldn't prove it. The cracks are showing, Snow, and they're only going to get wider. 2 days later, Haymitch's apartment. Haymitch sits alone, reviewing footage of the games, the nightlock moment. Katniss and Peeta, defiant. He's replayed it 17 times. Every angle, every camera, watching the Capitol audience's reaction. They loved it. The romance, the tragedy averted, the happy ending. But the district saw something else. District 11 rioted after Rue's death. 3 citizens executed. District 8 had an uprising after the Berry moment. Peacekeepers suppressed it. 12 dead. The spark is catching. But Haymitch knows. A spark isn't enough. It needs fuel, organization, coordination. He needs allies. There's a knock on his door. Haymitch checks the security monitor. Plutarch Heavensby. He opens the door. Plutarch enters, nervous. We need to talk. Haymitch. About. Plutarch, about what you did. The berries. Letting them both win. That wasn't just good television. That was a statement. It was pragmatic. They were going to kill themselves. Plutarch. Bullshit. You could have let them die. Declared no victor. Blamed it on their disobedience. But you didn't. You crowned them both. Why? Haymitch. Why do you care? Plutarch. Because I've been watching you for 10 years. Everyone else thinks you're Snow's perfect weapon. But I see something else. I see hesitation. Calculation. Someone playing a longer game. Haymitch says nothing. Plutarch, I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to answer honestly. Are you with them, or are you really Snow's man? Haymitch, who's them? Plutarch, District 13, the rebellion. The people who want to burn this whole system down. Haymitch's face doesn't change. District 13 is a crater. There is no rebellion. Plutarch, that's the lie the Capitol tells. But it's not true. District 13 is alive, underground, armed, and they're planning a war. Haymitch, and you're part of it? I've made contact, past intelligence, but I need help. I need someone with access, with power, someone who can sabotage the Capitol from the inside. He steps closer. I think that someone is you. 32 years he's trusted no one, revealed nothing. But if Plutarch is telling the truth, if District 13 is real, this changes everything. Haymitch, if I were part of a rebellion, what would that look like? Plutarch, you'd keep your position, feed us intelligence, undermine the Capitol in ways they can't trace, and when the time comes, when we're ready to strike, you'd help us extract Katniss Everdeen and the other victors, make them symbols of the revolution. Haymitch, why Katniss? Because of what you just did. You made her into a symbol, the girl on fire who defied the Capitol and survived. The districts will follow her, but only if we can get her out alive. Haymitch walks to his window, looks out over the Capitol. 32 years, waiting for this moment. He turns. I've been waiting 24 years to burn this place down. You're serious. I've been planting backdoors in Capitol security systems since I was 20. I have access to troop deployments, pod locations, Snow's personal communications, and every arena control system ever built. I can give District 13 everything they need to win a war. Plutarch, why didn't you act sooner? Because I needed a spark, someone the districts would follow. Katniss is that person, and I just made sure the entire nation knows her name. Plutarch sits. Stunned, you've been planning this for decades. Since I watched tributes from my district die and realized I'd helped kill them, I made a vow that night I'd destroy Snow, destroy the games, destroy all of it. I've been waiting for the right moment. And now, Haymitch, now I need you to get me in contact with District 13. President Coin, whoever's running their military. I have intelligence that can end this war before it starts. Plutarch, what kind of intelligence? Haymitch pulls out a data chip. Every Capitol pod location, every defense system, every nuclear silo, troop deployment schedules, peacekeeper patrol routes, and Snow's personal bunker coordinates. He hands it to Plutarch. I've been mapping the Capitol's vulnerabilities for 32 years. This is everything. Plutarch holds the chip like it's a bomb. If Snow finds out, he won't, because I'm the last person he'd suspect. I'm his son, his perfect weapon. He'll never see me coming. Plutarch, what do you need from District 13? Extraction. When the time comes, when the quarter quell happens next year, I need them to pull Katniss, Peeta, and the other victors out of the arena. Make it look like an accident, a malfunction. And you'll make that happen? Haymitch, I'm designing next year's arena. I'll code in the flaw, make it look natural. An explosion. Force field collapse. District 13 sends hovercrafts, extracts the tributes, and we have our symbols. Plutarch, and you. I stay here. Deep cover, feed you real-time intelligence during the war. When the rebels march on the Capitol, I'll disable every defense system from the inside. Snow will be defenseless. Haymitch, this is war. Are you in or not? I'll contact District 13 tonight. Get you a secure communication channel. And Plutarch, yeah, if you're lying, if this is a loyalty test from Snow, I'll kill you before the peacekeepers take me. Plutarch, I'm not lying. I hate Snow as much as you do. Then we'll get along fine. Plutarch leaves. Haymitch sits, alone again. For the first time in 32 years, he's not alone in this fight. It's happening. After all this time, it's finally happening. 3 weeks later, encrypted communication, Haymitch sits in his apartment. 3 a.m., secure channel open. A voice crackles through. This is President Alma Coin, District 13. Am I speaking with the head game maker? Haymitch, you are. Coin, Plutarch Heavensby says you want to help us. Forgive me if I'm skeptical. You're Snow's protégé. Why would you betray him? Made me complicit in the deaths of hundreds of children. I've been waiting 32 years for the chance to destroy him. Haymitch, I don't care if you trust me. I care if you use me. I have intelligence that can win you this war. Troop locations, defense systems, nuclear codes. Everything. Make her your symbol. I'll design the arena with a flaw. You send hovercrafts, pull her and the other victors out. Make it look like an accident. When you're ready to strike, I disable Capitol defenses from the inside. You march straight to Snow's door. Coin. And if we lose? But we'll die fighting, which is more than the tributes ever got. Silence on the line. Coin, send us your intelligence. If it checks out, we'll coordinate extraction protocols. But Haymitch, if you're lying, if this is a trap, we'll make sure you suffer before you die. I'd expect nothing less. Coin, welcome to the rebellion. The line disconnects. Haymitch sits back. 32 years in the Capitol. 32 years playing a role. Now the mask is cracking. The weapon Snow built is turning on him. I'm coming for you, Snow. You just don't know it yet. 6 months later, the quarter quell announcement. Snow stands before the nation, opens the envelope. On the 75th anniversary, as a reminder that even the strongest cannot overcome the power of the Capitol, the male and female tributes will be reaped from their existing pool of victors. The victors, survivors of previous games, are being sent back to die. It's a punishment for the rebellion, for hope itself. Haymitch watches the broadcast from his office. Perfect. You just gave me exactly what I need. The Game Maker design room. Snow summons Haymitch. I want you to design the arena for the quarter quell. Haymitch. An honor, sir. No second chances. Understood. Snow. This is personal, Haymitch. She embarrassed me, defied me, made the Capitol look weak. I want her to suffer before she dies. She will. Show me something brilliant. Haymitch. I won't disappoint you. The design process. Haymitch locks himself in the design lab for weeks. He builds the clock arena, a tropical island divided into 12 sectors like a clock. Each sector activates a different horror every hour. Midnight, lightning storm 1 a.m., blood rain 2 a.m., poisonous fog, 3 a.m. monkey mutts, 4 a.m. jabberjays, screaming mimicry, and so on. On the surface, it's a masterpiece. Elegant, deadly, inescapable. But Haymitch codes in a flaw. The force field dome surrounding the arena has a structural weakness at the 12 o'clock lightning sector. If someone hits it with a conductive material, like a wire, at the exact moment lightning strikes, the electrical overload will cause a cascading failure. The dome will collapse. Haymitch buries the flaw in 47 layers of code, makes it look like a rounding error, a glitch in the power distribution algorithm. No one will find it unless they know exactly what to look for. He also codes a kill switch into the MUT deployment system. If the force field breakout fails, he can disable the MUTs remotely, give the tributes time to escape manually. It's his insurance policy. The presentation to Snow. Haymitch shows Snow the arena design via holographic projection. The island rotates. Each sector lights up. The horrors demonstrate. Snow, exquisite. The clock motif is poetic. Time running out. Very fitting. Haymitch. Thank you, sir. Snow. And the force field? I'm penetrable. Triple redundant power systems. The tributes won't even be able to approach the perimeter without being repelled. No surprises. The Mockingjay dies in that arena. She will. I guarantee it. Snow smiles. I knew I could count on you. This will be your greatest work. It will be. Just not in the way you think. Snow doesn't catch the double meaning. Haymitch leaves the office. In the hallway, he allows himself a moment. I just built your cage, Snow, and you thanked me for it. 3 months later, the victor allies. Haymitch coordinates with Plutarch. They identify victors who are part of the rebel network. B.T. Masterson, District 3, genius engineer, can understand the force field flaw if given the right information. Johanna Mason, District 7, hates Snow, lost her family to his retaliation, willing to do anything to burn the Capitol. Finnick O'Dare, District 4, Capitol darling, secretly despises Snow for forcing him into prostitution. Wants revenge. Haymitch sends them coded messages through the sponsor system. The message, the arena has a flaw. Sector 12, lightning wire. BD will know what to do. Studies it, realizes what Haymitch is telling him. The force field can be broken. If I run a conductive wire from the lightning tree to the force field at exactly midnight, the electrical surge will overload the system. He sends confirmation. Haymitch has his team. The night before the games, Haymitch sits in his apartment, reviewing the plan one last time. The tributes enter the arena tomorrow. Beatty, Johanna, and Finnick will protect Katniss and Peeta. On day 3, Beatty will execute the force field breakout. District 13 will send hovercrafts, extract the tributes. And Haymitch will stay behind, maintain his cover, feed intelligence to the rebellion. It's a perfect plan. But Haymitch knows no plan survives contact with reality. If this fails, everyone dies. Katniss, Peeta, the victors, Plutarch, and Haymitch himself. But if it succeeds, if they pull this off, the rebellion gets its symbol. It's Mockingjay, and Snow loses everything. Haymitch pours a glass of water, doesn't drink it, just holds it. 32 years. 32 years of waiting, planning, pretending. Tomorrow it ends. One way or another. Let's see if you're as smart as you think you are, Snow, because I've been playing this game longer than you know. The arena. Day 1, 24 victors enter the clock arena. Haymitch watches from the control room. Every screen, every angle. Katniss, Peeta, Finnick, Johanna, Beatty, Wyrus. His alliance, his rebels. The careers, Brutus, Enobaria, Gloss, Kashmir. Threats, the bloodbath begins. 3 tributes die in the first 60 seconds. Haymitch doesn't intervene, can't show favoritism yet. But he watches, tracks his alliance members, makes sure they survive. Day 2. The fog. The poisonous fog activates in Sector 2. Katniss, Peeta, and Finnick are caught in it. Peeta is hit, falls. The fog burns his skin. Haymitch's hand hovers over the sponsor gift controls. Junior Game Maker, Sir, District 12 is requesting emergency medicine for Peeta Mellark. Haymitch, approved. Send it. We need the romance angle intact. The medicine arrives. Finnick applies it. Peeta survives. Day 3. The Wire Plan. BT approaches Katniss and Peeta with his plan. I can destroy the force field, end the games. But I need your help. Katniss. How? BT. There's a flaw in the dome at the 12 o'clock sector. If I run a wire from the lightning tree to the force field and complete the circuit exactly when lightning strikes, the electrical overload will collapse the dome. Peeta. How do you know there's a flaw? Because I'm a victor, and victors know how to find weaknesses. It's a lie. BT knows because Haymitch told him, but Katniss doesn't need to know that. They agree to the plan. That night, midnight sector, BT wraps the wire around the lightning tree, hands the spool to Katniss. Run this to the beach. When the lightning strikes, it'll travel down the wire, hit the force field, and overload the system. Katniss takes the wire, runs. At 11:58 p.m., she reaches the force field perimeter. BT, at the tree, waits. Haymitch watches from the control room, his hand on the console. This is it, the moment 32 years of planning comes down to. 11:59 p.m. Lightning builds in the sky. Katniss wraps the wire around an arrow, aims at the force field dome. Midnight strikes. Lightning hits the tree, surges down the wire. Katniss releases the arrow. It hits the force field at the exact moment the electrical surge reaches it. The dome explodes. A cascade of electrical fire. The force field collapses in sections. The arena dies. The control room chaos. Alarms scream. Every screen goes red. Junior Game Makers panic. Sir, the dome is down. We've lost containment. Tributes are escaping. Haymitch stands, stares at the screens. He performs shock. What happened? The force field collapsed. Structural failure in Sector 12. Haymitch, that's impossible. The force field was triple redundant. Get me diagnostics, now. District 13 hovercrafts appear. Swoop down into the arena, extract Katniss, BT, Finnick. Johanna is captured by the Capitol. So is Peeta, not part of the plan, but unavoidable. 2 extracted, 2 captured. Haymitch curses internally. Damn it. We needed them both. But Katniss is safe. That's what matters. Snow's voice crackles over the comm. Haymitch, my office, now. Snow's office. 10 minutes later, Snow is standing, shaking with rage. What happened? Haymitch, the force field failed. I don't know how. The system was designed to be impenetrable. Why are rebels extracting my tributes from my arena? I don't know. Someone must have sabotaged the design. Snow, someone who had access to the arena code. Haymitch, the entire Game Maker team. Junior designers, technicians, it could be anyone. Snow grabs Haymitch by the collar, slams him against the wall. Or it could be you. Haymitch doesn't resist, stays calm. If you think I'm a traitor, kill me. But you'll never figure out what went wrong without me. I'm the only one who understands the system. Snow's hands shake. He wants to kill Haymitch, wants to strangle him. But he needs him. Snow releases him. Steps back. You have one chance. 1. Help me crush District 13. Find the flaw in your design. Prove you're loyal. Or I will execute you in front of the entire Capitol. Haymitch straightens his collar. I'll find the saboteur. I promise. Snow, you'd better, because if this rebellion succeeds, I'm taking you down with me. Understood, sir. Haymitch leaves. In the hallway, he exhales. That was close. Too close. Barely. Now comes the hard part, staying alive while the war begins. The war begins. District 13 broadcasts the footage of the arena breakout. Katniss Everdeen, the Mockingjay, alive, free. the symbol of rebellion. The districts erupt. District 8 rises. Peacekeepers suppress them. Hundreds dead. District 11 follows. Open warfare. District 5 sabotages power plants. The capital loses control of 3 districts in the first week. Snow mobilizes the military, full war footing, and Haymitch is placed under 24/7 surveillance. Peacekeepers outside his apartment, cameras in every room, his every move monitored. He can't contact Plutarch, can't reach District 13, but he doesn't need to, because he already gave them everything they need, the pod locations, the troop deployments, the defense systems. Now he just has to survive. The intelligence leaks. Haymitch continues working, analyzing the arena failure, advising Snow on military strategy. But everything he tells Snow is a lie. Snow, where should we deploy peacekeepers to stop the District 8 uprising? Haymitch, Sector 7, the industrial quarter. It's the key to their manufacturing. Sector 7 is actually a decoy. The real rebel base is in Sector 3. Snow sends troops to Sector 7. They find nothing. District 8 rebels ambush them in Sector 3. 30 peacekeepers killed. Snow, your intelligence was wrong. Haymitch, the rebels are using guerrilla tactics. They move constantly. I'm giving you the best data I have. Yes, sir, Haymitch continues. Every piece of advice he gives Snow is designed to fail. Every troop deployment leads into ambushes. Every secure supply route is sabotaged. The capital is losing ground, and Snow doesn't realize his most trusted advisor is the one bleeding him dry. 2 months later, the capital lockdown. District 13's forces push closer to the capital. They've taken Districts 8, 11, 5, and 3. Snow orders a full lockdown, martial law in the capital. Every citizen is screened, every building searched for rebels. Haymitch is interrogated 3 times. Peacekeeper, head game maker Abernathy, where were you on the night of the arena breakout? Haymitch, in the control room, where I always am during the games. Did you notice any irregularities in the force field code? Not until it collapsed. The sabotage was expertly hidden. Do you have any contact with District 13? No. I'm loyal to President Snow. I've served him for 32 years. They find nothing, because Haymitch has left no trail. Every communication with Plutarch was encrypted and deleted. Every backdoor in the capital systems is buried under layers of legitimate code. He's a ghost. 3 months into the war, the rebels are at the capital's gates. Snow's inner circle is collapsing. Senators executed for suspected treason. Game makers arrested. But Haymitch survives, because Snow still believes, on some level, that Haymitch is loyal. He raised me. He thinks that means something. He thinks 32 years of conditioning can't be undone. He's wrong. Haymitch sits in his apartment, watching the rebel broadcasts on a hidden monitor. Katniss Everdeen, the Mockingjay, making propaganda videos, inspiring the districts. He whispers, almost there, just a little longer. The capital perimeter. 4 months into the war, District 13's forces surround the capital. 100,000 soldiers, artillery, hovercrafts. The largest military force assembled since the dark days. Inside the capital, Snow sits in his bunker, 3 levels underground, reinforced concrete, the safest place in Panem. Except it's not safe, because Haymitch gave District 13 the coordinates. Snow doesn't know that yet. The presidential mansion. Command center. Snow stands before a tactical display. His remaining generals around him. Status report. General Thread, Districts 1, 2, and 4 are still loyal, but they're cut off. No supply lines. No reinforcements. The street-level pod system is active. Mutts are deployed in the sewers. Laser grids covering main avenues. We can hold for months. Snow. Months won't matter if we can't break the siege. He turns to Haymitch. What do you recommend? Haymitch has been standing in the corner, silent, watching. We need to make them bleed. Force them into the pods. Make the capital so costly to take that they retreat. Snow. Elaborate. Haymitch walks to the display, points to sectors. Here. Main Avenue. We lure them with a fake evacuation route. Make it look undefended. When they advance, we activate the pods. Mines, mutts, gas. Kill thousands in the first wave. It's brutal. It's effective. The rebels are motivated by hope. We take that away. They collapse. General Thread, I like it. When do we implement? Haymitch, 24 hours. I need time to reprogram the pod activation sequences. Snow, do it, And Haymitch, yes, sir. This had better work. Because if we lose this war, I'm taking you with me. Haymitch, understood. He leaves the command center. In the hallway, alone, he exhales. 24 hours. That's all I need. That night, Haymitch's apartment. Haymitch sits at his desk. The apartment is under surveillance. Cameras in every corner. But Haymitch installed them himself. He knows where they are, knows the blind spots. He pulls out a hidden device, no bigger than a coin, a short-range transmitter. Types a message, TO District 13 Command. From Asset Nightlock, Capitol defenses will go offline in 24 hours. Pod locations, MUT deployment codes, bunker access, presidential mansion, Sabello 3, entry code 7739, our OSE main venue is a trap. Do not advance until I signal Snow expects assault at 060. Delay until 0800. I will disable all defenses from the inside. When the lights go out, march. H. He encrypts the message, sends it, the device self-destructs, melts into slag. Haymitch drops it in the trash. Stands, looks out at the Capitol, 32 years. It all comes down to tomorrow. The next morning, 0600 hours. The rebel forces mass at the Capitol perimeter. President Coin stands in the District 13 Mobile Command Center, reviewing Haymitch's intelligence. Commander Paylor, do we trust him? This could be a trap. Coin, the intelligence he's provided for 4 months has been flawless. Every pod location he gave us was accurate. Every troop movement precise. He's proven himself. Plutarch, he's been playing Snow for 32 years. If anyone can pull this off, it's Haymitch. Coin, then we wait until 0800. If the defenses go offline, we advance. If not, we retreat and reassess. Paylor, and if Haymitch is caught, Coin, then we've lost our inside man, and this war gets much harder. The Capitol, Game Maker Command Center, 0700 hours. Haymitch enters the Central Command Center, the nerve center of all Capitol defenses. Every pod, every MUT, every laser grid, all controlled from this room. 20 technicians monitor screens. Armed guards at every exit. Haymitch approaches the main console. Senior technician, sir, the rebels are massing at the perimeter. Should we activate the main avenue trap? Haymitch, not yet, I need to run diagnostics first. Make sure the pod sequences are optimized. Pulls up the system interface. On the surface, he's checking deployment sequences. In reality, he's typing code. 47 lines. Buried in routine maintenance protocols. A master override. Every defense system in the Capitol is about to go dark. 0730 hours. Haymitch finishes the code, buries it under 12 layers of encryption. It's set to execute at 0800. When it does, every pod will deactivate. Every MUT cage will lock. Every laser grid will power down. The Capitol will be defenseless. And Snow will never see it coming. Haymitch stands. Diagnostics complete. The trap is ready. Technician, should we inform President Snow? I'll tell him myself. Haymitch leaves the command center. In the hallway, he checks his watch. 28 minutes. 0755 hours. The presidential bunker. Snow sits in his private study, underground, surrounded by roses. The scent is overwhelming. Haymitch enters. Sir, the defenses are ready. The rebels will advance any moment. Snow and the trap. Armed, the moment they enter Main Avenue will kill thousands. Snow smiles. Good. This is the beginning of the end. We'll break them here. Haymitch. Yes, sir. Snow studies him. You've been with me for 32 years, Haymitch. I've trained you, raised you, made you what you are. I know. Do you understand why I did it? Why I took you from District 12? Haymitch. Because I was useful. Snow? No. Because I saw potential. Intelligence. Ruthlessness. Everything I needed in a successor. I raised you to be my son, my heir. When this war is over, when the rebels are crushed, you'll rule beside me. That's always been the plan. I'm honored. Snow, you should be. Power is the only thing that matters in this world, and I'm giving it to you. Haymitch, thank you, Father. The word still tastes like poison, but he says it. Snow embraces him, a gesture of approval. Haymitch wants to vomit, wants to scream. Instead, he hugs back. checks his watch over Snow's shoulder. 1 minute. Snow pulls back. Go, oversee the defense. I want to watch the rebels die. Haymitch. Yes, sir. He turns to leave. The lights go out. The command center, every screen goes black. Emergency lighting kicks in. Red, flickering. Alarms scream. Technicians panic. Sir, we've lost all systems. Pods are offline. Mutts won't deploy. Laser grids are down. Haymitch stands in the center of the room. Calm. What happened? We don't know. System-wide failure. Every defense is offline. Get me diagnostics, now. Sir, there's a master override code in the system. It locked out all defense protocols. Haymitch, where did it come from? I don't know. It's buried under encryption. Looks like it was planted weeks ago. Another technician. Sir, the rebels are advancing. They're in the streets. Haymitch looks at the screens. District 13 forces pour into the Capitol. Unopposed, no pods, no mutts, no defenses. The Capitol is wide open. The presidential bunker. Moments later, Snow watches the monitors in disbelief. What is happening? We've lost control. How? Sabotage. Someone planted an override code. Snow's face goes white. He turns, looks at Haymitch, and for the first time in 32 years, he understands. You doesn't run, just stands there, meets Snow's eyes, and smiles. Snow's voice is a whisper. How long? Haymitch. 32 years. The room goes silent. Snow. Everything? The 74th games, the quarter quell, the intelligence leaks, all of it. Snow staggers, grabs his desk. I raised you. I made you. You were mine. Haymitch's voice is ice. You took me when I was 8 years old, stole my life, my family, my name. You thought you were making me into a weapon. You were. Just not the one you intended. He steps closer. Every arena I designed, I coded in a flaw. Every security system I built, I left a backdoor. Every piece of intel you trusted me with, I gave to District 13. The nightlock berries, I kept Katniss alive because I knew she'd be the spark. The quarter quell, I designed the force field to break. The war, every troop movement, every ambush, every supply route sabotage. That was me. I've been bleeding you dry for 4 months and you never even noticed. Snow's hands shake. Why? Why wait so long? Haymitch. Because I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to watch everything you built crumble. I wanted you to die knowing that the boy you raised destroyed you. Snow, I made you what you are. Haymitch. No, you made me what you deserved. Snow reaches for a weapon. Haymitch is faster. He grabs Snow's wrist, twists, the gun clatters to the floor. You're done, Snow. The Capitol is falling, your defenses are gone. The rebels are in the streets, and I made it all possible. Snow, you're a traitor. I'm a survivor, and you taught me everything I needed to beat you. The arrest, the bunker door explodes, rebel soldiers pour in. District 13 uniforms, they aim weapons at Snow and his guards. Commander Paylor, President Snow, you're under arrest for crimes against humanity. He just stares at Haymitch. You won. Haymitch, I know. Rebel soldiers drag Snow away. Haymitch stands alone in the bunker. 32 years. It's over. The aftermath, the Capitol falls in 6 hours. No pods, no mutts, no defenses. The rebels march through the streets unopposed. Citizens hide, some surrender, some fight and die. But the outcome was never in doubt. By sunset, the presidential mansion is occupied. District 13 flags fly from the towers. The war is over. 3 days later, the trial. President Snow sits in a makeshift courtroom, hands bound, the surviving Capitol leadership beside him, senators, generals, gamemakers. President Coin presides. Coriolanus Snow, you are charged with 75 years of crimes against humanity, the Hunger Games, mass executions, systematic oppression. How do you plead? But I'm not the only one responsible. He looks at Haymitch, sitting in the gallery. That man designed the games, built the arenas, killed hundreds of children. He's as guilty as I am. The courtroom murmurs. Coin. Haymitch Abernathy was operating as a deep cover asset for District 13. He provided critical intelligence that ended this war. His actions saved lives. Bitter. He's a traitor who played all sides. You trust him now, but how long before he betrays you too? Haymitch stands. I did what was necessary to survive. I built the games because refusing meant death. But I also sabotaged every system I could. I planted flaws. I fed intelligence to the rebellion. I spent 32 years dismantling the Capitol from the inside. That's not betrayal. That's war. Snow, you murdered children. So did you. The difference is, I tried to stop it. You celebrated it. Coin, this is not Haymitch's trial. This is yours, Snow. The verdict is guilty. The sentence is death. Snow, when? Tomorrow. Public execution. The nation will watch. Snow smiles. Good. Let them see what you become. You'll replace me. Build your own dictatorship. Call it democracy. But you're just another version of me. Coin's expression doesn't change. Take him away. That night, Snow's cell. Haymitch visits. Snow sits on a cot. Calm, resigned. Come to gloat. Haymitch, no. To ask a question. Ask. Do you regret it? Any of it? The games. The deaths. The 32 years of tyranny. Snow considers. No. I did what was necessary to keep Panem stable, to prevent another war like the Dark Days. The games were brutal, but they worked. They kept the districts in line for 75 years. That's not evil, that's pragmatism. Haymitch, you murdered children. I sacrificed a few to save millions. That's leadership. That's insanity. Snow, is it? Look at District 13. Look at Coin. She'll do the same things I did. She'll control. She'll punish. She'll sacrifice whoever she needs to maintain power. The only difference is she'll call it justice. Haymitch, she's not you. She will be. Give it time. Haymitch stands to leave. Snow, one more thing. Haymitch stops. I really did see you as my son. That wasn't a lie. I wanted you to succeed me, to carry on what I built. I'm proud of what you became, even if you used it against me. Haymitch, I was never your son. I was your hostage. But you turned out exactly as I hoped. Ruthless, brilliant, willing to do anything to win. We're more alike than you want to admit. Haymitch doesn't answer. He leaves. In the hallway he stops, leans against the wall. We're more alike than you want to admit. The words echo. Haymitch shoves them down. Keeps walking. The execution. The next day, Snow is brought to the city circle, hands bound. Thousands watch. Cameras broadcast to every district. President Coin stands on a podium. 75 years ago, Coriolanus Snow seized power through murder and manipulation. For decades, he ruled through fear. Through the Hunger Games, through systematic oppression, today we end his reign. She gestures. Katniss Everdeen steps forward, bow in hand. Arrow knocked, she's supposed to execute Snow. The symbolic justice, but Katniss hesitates. She looks at Snow, then at Coin, then at Haymitch, standing in the crowd. Their eyes meet. Haymitch sees her decision forming. No, don't. The arrow flies, strikes Coin through the heart. She falls, dead before hitting the ground. Chaos erupts. Guards rush Katniss, tackle her. Drag her away. Snow starts laughing. I told you. She's just like me. They're all just like me. Haymitch stands frozen, watching. Katniss just killed the president of District 13, the rebellion's leader. Because she saw what Haymitch saw, Coin was becoming another Snow. The cycle was starting again, and Katniss ended it. 3 days later, Commander Paylor's office. Commander Paylor assumes interim leadership. She calls Haymitch in. What happens now? Haymitch, you hold elections, real ones. Let the districts choose their leaders. Paylor, and the Hunger Games? Abolished. Permanently destroy the arenas. Memorialize the dead. Make sure it never happens again. Paylor, some people want revenge, want to execute Capitol citizens, want a final Hunger Games using Capitol children. Then stop them. Because if we do that, we become Snow. The cycle continues forever. Paylor, what about you? What do you want? Haymitch, I want to go home. District 12? I haven't been there in 32 years. I want to see if there's anything left. Paylor, you could have power here. You understand the system better than anyone. You could help rebuild. I've had enough of power. I just want to rest. Then go. You've earned it. District 12. 6 weeks later, Haymitch stands in the seam, the place where he was born, where he lived until he was 8. It's rubble now. The Capitol firebombed the entire district during the war. Punishment for producing Katniss Everdeen, everything is gone. The houses, the schoolhouse, the merchant sector, ash and memories. Haymitch walks through the ruins, stops at a foundation, his childhood home. Nothing left. Just scorched earth. He kneels, picks up a piece of charred wood. His mother died here, burned alive when the Capitol attacked. He never got to say goodbye, never even knew until after the war. She spent 32 years believing he was alive, safe in the Capitol. She died thinking he'd become one of them. Haymitch closes his eyes. "I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry." He sets the wood down gently, stands, walks to the meadow beyond the seam. It's the only thing that survived. Wildflowers blooming. Haymitch sits. 32 years. 32 years of pretending, playing a role, being someone he wasn't. Now the mask is gone, and he doesn't know who he is anymore. A year later, Haymitch rebuilds a small house in the seam. Nothing fancy, just 4 walls and a roof. He doesn't drink, never has, stays sharp, stays sober. But the nightmares come, every tribute he watched die, every arena he designed, every manipulation, every lie, Maisily Donner's face, the 12-year-olds in the avalanche, hundreds of children. He killed them. Not directly, but his arenas, his traps, his designs, their blood is on his hands. Real or not real? Real. Some nights he wakes up screaming. Some nights he doesn't sleep at all. 2 years later, Katniss and Peeta move back to District 12. They build a house near Haymitch's. One day, Katniss visits. "Why did you do it? Why spend 32 years playing Snow's perfect weapon?" Haymitch, "Because I was 8 years old and had no choice. And then I was 16 and realized I could use it. Turn the weapon back on him. Was it worth it?" Haymitch looks at her. "The games are over. Snow is dead. The districts are free. Yeah, it was worth it. Even though you had to become like him, I never became like him. I pretended. There's a difference." Katniss is there. Haymitch doesn't answer. She sits beside him. "I killed Coin because she was going to restart the games. Use Capitol children, continue the cycle. I know. Do you think I was right? I think you did what you had to. Just like I did." They sit in silence. 2 people broken by the same system, trying to figure out how to live in the aftermath. 5 years later, Panem holds its first free elections. Commander Paylor wins, establishes a democratic government. The Hunger Games are abolished, the arenas destroyed. Memorials are built in every district, names of every tribute carved in stone. In District 12, Haymitch attends the dedication ceremony. He stands before the wall, reads the names. Maisily Donner, the 2 boys from District 12 who died in the 50th Games, every tribute from every game he designed. 24 years of deaths. He traces Maisily's name with his fingers, whispers, "I'm sorry. I tried to stop it. I should have tried harder." Peeta approaches. "You did stop it, eventually. Haymitch, not soon enough. You were a kid, 8 years old when Snow took you, 16 when you watched Maisily die. You did what you could with what you had. I should have refused, should have fought back sooner, and the games would still be happening. You survived. You dismantled the system from the inside. That's more than anyone else managed." Haymitch looks at Peeta. "How do you live with it? The guilt, the nightmares, everything you had to do." "Peeta, I focus on what comes next. Katniss and I are planting primroses in the meadow for her sister, for everyone we lost. It doesn't erase the past, but it honors them, and that's enough." 10 years later, Haymitch sits on his porch. He's 50 years old, gray in his hair, lines on his face, still sober, still haunted, but alive. The nightmares have faded. Not gone, but quieter. He's learned to live with the ghosts. Katniss and Peeta visit weekly, bring their children. A girl and a boy, born into a world without Hunger Games. The girl asks, "Mr. Abernathy, what were the games?" Haymitch considers. "A nightmare, but they're over now." "Yes, I helped. Were you scared?" "Every single day. But you did it anyway." "I did it anyway." The girl smiles, runs off to play. Katniss sits beside Haymitch. "You should tell them the truth, what you really did, how you sabotaged the Capitol for 32 years. Haymitch, maybe someday, when they're older, they should know you're a hero. I'm a survivor. There's a difference. Peeta, you're both." They sit, watching the children play, a world without arenas, without reapings, without the fear of losing a child to spectacle and cruelty. Haymitch helped build that world, but the cost was everything he was: his childhood, his family, his identity. He spent 32 years being someone else, and now, finally, he's trying to figure out who he really is. 20 years after the war, Haymitch is 60 years old. He sits in the meadow where he used to sit as a child. Before Snow, before the Capitol, the wildflowers are blooming, he's alone. Just him and his thoughts. 32 years in the Capitol, 20 years of freedom. Which life was real? The boy from the seam, or Snow's perfect weapon? Haymitch doesn't know anymore. But he knows this. He survived, he destroyed the system. He saved Katniss, saved PETA, saved the districts, and the Hunger Games are over. That has to mean something. He closes his eyes, listens to the wind, thinks about Maisie, about his mother, about every tribute who died. Whispers, "I kept my promise, I made it count." The wind carries his words away. And Haymitch Abernathy, the boy stolen from the seam, the man who pretended to be a monster, the saboteur who brought down an empire, finally allows himself to rest. Not forgiveness, not peace, but something close enough.